What's happening, people? Shay here, Uneven Bounce. Hope you guys are well. So, if you haven't forgotten, we've actually got a 5 test match series between the test cricketing giants of England and India, starting on Wednesday at Trent Bridge. Very excited to look forward to this. I've got obviously with me the regular panel when it comes to the India tour shows. We've got Anurag, Sayan, Aditya, and Krishna with me here today. So, guys, how you all doing?
Good.
Everyone's well. Everyone's excited.
All good. All good. Yeah.
I think I can see a lot of smiles, as you've probably seen. You probably looked at England potential Test 11. It's probably bringing an even bigger smile to your face coming Wednesday. But anyway, we'll get into it. Obviously, said we've got Wednesday, which is actually, if from memory serves me correct, that was the India's only Test win 3 years ago. They walloped England by 203 runs at Trent Bridge in that third Test. But we're starting obviously in this Test series. Obviously, as you probably see from my name today, F the 100. As you know, obviously the 100's going at the moment. This new concept, these tournaments, and to be honest with you, I feel there's very little light been shed on this Test series. Now, I think obviously when we start on Wednesday, people start to get into it. But right now, you'd almost forget there's actually a Test series between these two sides happening. Do you think that this kind of low-key approach to the series benefits either side, maybe one side? I'll go around the room, starting with Anurag, and just get your opinions on that.
Yeah, Shay. So when you asked me if you wanted to discuss something else, so my first question was why there was not much gung-ho from the media about this Test series. I mean, this is kind of a marquee series between the India and England countries, and there has not been much media hype. I was quite surprised because the Indian media just does its regular shit about how India is going to tramp England in each of these tests. I mean, India winning 5-0 and all. But I was surprised when the English media hasn't brought up anything about it. There wasn't much banter between Wasim Jaffer or Michael Vaughan, and there were no memes shared as well. So I was kind of surprised why this has. I mean, there's not much hype because of this series. So probably they expect the 100 to probably give them more revenue, but this Test series hasn't been given much coverage. So yeah. These are the points I would like to say.
Are you disappointed, Anurag?
Definitely. I mean, if you asked me any day, I'd wake up at night and watch a Test match rather than the 100. So I'm quite disappointed.
Sayan, what's your thoughts on this whole thing?
So basically, I think after the World Test Championship final debacle, I think the PCC have tried to keep it a bit low-key because let's be honest, if they hype it up right now, the comment section would be filled with toxic comments, right? I think if India wins the first test, then we'll get to see the hype. Although in India, the individual sports accounts like Cricket Extra and other accounts like that, they have been trying to hype it up a bit, but it's not been to the level of, let's say, the Border Gavaskar Trophy that happened in December, right? So I think also the England media have been trying to keep it low-key, mainly because of the 100. It's a new franchisee tournament and it has to be supported at this point of time. And also because it's not a strong 11 that the English team will project out on 4th, right? And so they don't want to hype it up. Also, I feel the Barmy Army has been trying to put out a few tweets, but let's be honest, they are quite cringy now.
Aditya, do you think this is more of a devaluing of Test cricket in the current state of the cricketing landscape that we're faced with now, with a plethora of white ball cricket in different formats, etc.? And maybe I don't go to start saying, is it just again where Test cricket is now placed in the landscape of the sport, or is it more a case of, as science said, which I should probably agree with, it's a case of probably the two boards have discussed it and said, you know what, we need to give the conjure our full effort and attention. Is it more to do with that, or just less interest in Test cricket nowadays?
Well, first of all, it's unfortunate that there hasn't been as much media attention given to the Test series, given that it's a Test series between 2 of 3 dominant Test playing nations. So I think I feel sorry for the players. I feel sorry for Test cricket lovers in general. But I think it's generally down to bad timing, because on the one hand, the ECB were desperate to get the 100 underway, and they've been looking for windows to do that. obviously COVID played spoilsport, because I believe the 100 was supposed to come out last year, and that didn't really happen. So this was that window, and they needed to make sure that they compensated for that delay. So Anurag quite rightly said that, a lot of the media attention is going just there, towards the 100. As for the Indian media contingent, I think a lot of their time has been devoted to covering the Olympics, because a lot of our Indian teams, a lot of our Indian athletes have done quite well at the Olympics. And last night, if everyone followed the hockey, it was almost reminiscent of what an iconic Hindi film displayed a couple of years ago. So I think the Indian media has also been sort of divided there. But in saying that, hopefully, if this test series produces some exciting cricket, you never know. It looks like people will bring their attention back to test cricket. But I hope it happens, because both teams will not be at full strength, and they're going to need as much support from the outside as they could possibly get.
Do you think this wasn't the start of a new World Test Championship cycle, Aditya, and maybe it's coming towards the end where points really mattered in this 2-year period? Would there be more attention even with I appreciate you saying before, listen, the reality was the 100 minutes of schedule last year when we had West Indies and Pakistan coming over, much more low-key series, but the reality is it's clash with a beam-off of a series with India coming over. There's the 100, then obviously then the India series. It's unfortunate, but do you think if it was, let's say, a culmination of the World Test Championship for this cycle, would there be more interest even with the 100 being alongside it?
Well, I think I don't think the 100 would have been played alongside it if this was at the end of the World Test Championship. I think if the ICC would have gotten that timing right, but I think right now, because it's the beginning of the World Test Championship, and there really isn't another window for the ECB, because after this, the IPL is going to take place, then the T20 World Cup, and then India is going to South Africa, and then England has its own commitments. So it's very hard to find a window, and then for something that was launched with much fanfare a couple of years ago, to then have a tournament delayed by another year and a half, when we also know that the next year IPL is going to be an extended tournament as well. So when will the ECB have time to really launch its flagship tournament? So I don't think there could have been a better outcome, and this is the best I think both boards could have done at this point.
Sure. Christian, do you think this said low-key approach to the series, does it assist either side, would you say, or it doesn't really matter whether it's given full attention, or this is kind of what we've seen so far, which kind of flying under the radar, if you will?
I think. I mean, I don't think. I don't think it matters much to England, because England really aren't the favorites right now, right? So any media, I mean, they were not going to get much media coverage, or if they were going to get any, it's like, oh, how much are England going to lose, 4-0 or 5-0, right? It's that. So I think they wouldn't be really affected by much of it. But at least with respect to India, I feel like the low-key approach is actually really good for them, because I mean, can you just imagine, if we were, this was an Australian series before, like whatever, during the first test of the series, they were like, no, don't play Prithvi Shaw, play Mayank, play KL, play Gill, play this, play that. And, Prithvi Shaw was affected, right? I'm just giving an example of a player who got affected because of the media coverage during the series, right? Now I think it's great for Indian cricket and this series, at least for India, that, the series is getting low, I mean, not such a big coverage. And also, I think it's great for Indian media in terms of the Olympics, because the Olympics is the more marquee event going on right now. So I think it's a once in 4 years event, right? So I think it's good that the media is shining light on discus throwers and freestyle swimmers and bunch of Indian sports and sports persons and athletes that don't get a lot of coverage. So I think that is definitely one of the good things that has come out of this lack of coverage given to Indian cricket. But I think slowly as the series goes on, you will see once the first test is over, second test is over, irrespective of the result, you will see more and more coverage given to it. And I think with respect to the 100, like you asked, the 100, I'll tell you what, it's to me it's basically just T20 cricket, but like they've just reduced the number of balls by like 20. It's basically that, right? There's nothing. I don't see the spectacle of it. I really don't. But I mean, whatever, they change the format. You don't change just because you change the format doesn't mean you change the enthusiasm, or you've made some groundbreaking discovery in cricket. I just don't think that makes sense. But even then, if the success of the 100 is good for cricket, because it brings new viewers, if it does, so that's good. And if the India-England series, which is the start of a new World Test Championship cycle, has to take a hit in terms of the media coverage and the hype, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Is anyone kind of comment on the impact this could have on either side before we move on?
Yeah, I think England will benefit from it a bit more because, with Ben Stokes not being in the team, and we all wish him well and hope that he comes back stronger and fitter and in a more relaxed frame of mind. I think England will welcome it because they also know that despite the fact they're in home conditions, they're certainly not invincible. They've had their own struggles with batting, and they've had, despite the fact that they might not have played the strongest team against New Zealand, they did lose to New Zealand, and that would be preying on their minds because this Indian team is a lot stronger. Sure, India will have had a bit of a setback with Mayank Agarwal being concussed today, and the fact that he's not going to be available, and potentially KL Rahul or I don't know what the management is thinking about who Rohit Sharma's opening partner will be. They're going to have to think about that, and that may present a little bit of confusion. But overall, I think India is a more settled side, and England will be happier with the fact that there isn't as much media spotlight on them right now.
Sure. Sayan, you want to comment?
No, actually, he said the same thing.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to go to the squads before we get into kind of team selections and the batting and bowling makeup of either side. So England announced the squad for the first and second test. We've got Joe Root as captain, James Anderson, Johnny Bairstow, Dominic Bess, Stuart Broad, Rory Burns, Josh Butler, Zach Crawley, Sam Curran, Hasib Ahmed, being recalled to the squad, Dan Lawrence, Chat Leach, Craig Overton, who's been called up, obviously, with the withdrawal of Ben Stokes, Ollie Pope, Ollie Robinson, Dominic Sibley, and Mark Wood. That's the England squad for the first two tests. India squad, obviously announced for the entire tour, is Virat Kohli's captain, and Jigar Rahane vice captain, Mayank Agarwal. We'll get into it in a few minutes. Ravichandran Ashwin, Jasprit Bumrah, Abhimanyu Easwaran. We'll discuss a bit later as well. Ravindra Jadeja back from injury. Mohammad Shami, Mohammad Siraj, Rishabh Pant, Akshar Patel, Cheteshwar Pujara, KL Rahul, Vidiman Sahar, Ishant Sharma, Rohit Sharma, Prithvi Shaw, Shardul Thakur, Hanuman Vihari, Umesh Yadav, Suryakumar Yadav. And we've had three withdrawn players from the squad with Avish Khan, Shubman Gill, and Washington Sundar pulled out for the initial squad. So let's start with the batting first. I'll start with Anurag. Obviously, he said today Mohammad Siraj as basically, well, Mike Agarwal's copped a blow to the head. I'm sure to Krishna's dismay when he heard the news that Agarwal got a bit of a bumper there. So he's obviously out of the reckoning now to be Rohit Sharma's opening partner. What do we think will be the top six, we'll say for now, Anurag, for this first test?
So Shay, when it comes to the opening partner for Rohit Sharma, we just have three options here. Two guys have already been experienced in the England conditions, and one is a debutant. So if you see, one is KL Rahul and the other guy is Hanuma Vihari, and the other guy is Abhimanyu Easwaran, who's probably going to make his debut. So if you ask me who I'd slot in, I'd probably go in for the debutant. I prefer KL Rahul probably in the middle order because he has done well. He scored a century in the practice game as well. So it'll be Rohit Sharma and Abhimanyu Easwaran batting in the top. Then it'll followed by Pujara, Virat Kohli, and Ajinkya Rahane. Then let me go with KL Rahul and then Rishabh Pant. So here I have six batsmen and a wicket keeper. Then I'll go with my four bowlers. I would not risk having a Jadeja in the squad because we've seen what happened in the World Test Championship final. We had to play two spinners which did not reap any rewards. So I'll have Ashwin as my primary spinner, followed up with Mohammad Shami, Ishan Sharma, and Mohammad Siraj. I'll probably play Bumrah in the latter stage of the test series, just in case we're going to press the panic button. So yeah, that'll be my 11.
Okay. So I saw you shaking your head a little bit with the Mishan Jadeja from Anurag. What would your 11 be? Come Wednesday.
I would open with someone like a Vihari and Rohit. That gives you the cushion of a part-timer up top. Then at 3, I would slot in Pujara. At 4, Kohli.
You'd really trust Ahmed Vihari against James Anderson and Stuart Broad in English conditions? It's like in the weather forecast, it's fairly overcast.
I mean, let's be
you want to get
honest,
Pujara in basically after first.
No, see, it's the same thing, right? If Abhimanyu Ishwaran opens, anyway, Pujara is playing the opening role, right? So let's give it to Vihari. He can face a few balls at least. So Vihari, Rohit, Pujara, Rahane, Kohli, Rahane. Then I would have someone like Pant. Then I would play Ashwin, Shardul Thakur. What's his name? Siraj, Ishan Sharma, Bumrah.
It's quite an aggressive ball inside that, isn't it? Really, you've got so Pant at 6. You've got this Iswaran. Do you want to explain a bit more about him? What's his background? What's him? He's got a bit of unknown to me.
So basically, he has played on West Bengal pitches, right? And West Bengal pitches are a bit sticky, but they do favor pace nowadays, the Eden Gardens pitch. However, I don't think he'll be a too good player of, swing. He has not played many games for India A because his slots were being were offered to Mayank Agarwal, Prithvi Shaw, and Shubman Gill in those India A games. So he has not got a lot of experience overseas. He has played a lot in Ranji. He has got quite a good first-class record, but however, I wouldn't trust him against Anderson and Broad.
Aditya, will come to you. England, remember, obviously, only a few months ago now, rotated their squad quite a bit in their tour of India. It was almost, for me, they felt they were resigned to losing that series before one ball's even bowled. We saw people go home, obviously, to manage their schedules. India, I don't believe, will do the same thing. As far as I'm aware, people will not be playing 1-2 tests and going home. I heard before I mentioned about maybe keep Bumrah in reserve. Would you agree with these kind of sentiments there? I feel like Bumrah's getting a bit of a raw deal because of how he played against New Zealand. I'm not saying just from you, Anurag, but I don't know of the kind of impression of Bumrah anymore at test level. But what would your 11 be, Aditya?
My 11 is Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Cheteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, Rishabh Pant, Ashwin, Shardul Thakur, Mohammad Siraj, Ishan Sharma, and Jasprit Bumrah. That's my 11.
So you've also gone with 6 batsmen, Pant at 6. But that being said, your batting, apart from Kohli's, will let you down in the last series. He averaged 59, 593 runs, 59, phenomenal 3 years ago. But the next one down was Pujara at 39, averaging 39. The rest fought hard. The 29. Pace bowlers, Shami, Ishan, did well. 39 for Pujara. So have these batsmen, obviously it's slightly different, no Dalwan, for example, but I mean, have they really come on? Have they become much better batsmen where you're confident to play Ashwin at 7? Against a very I still see it's quite a potent England attack. The likes of Wood, Sam Curran, Broad, Anderson. Anderson's still doing it. Broad's still a very, a formidable bowler. Are you very confident with Ashwin at 7? Because you both said that, haven't you? Anurag's the only one who said 7 batsmen, but Pant at 7. And Anurag, you didn't have Vihari in your top 7, did you either? You got no 5th bowling option. None of your batsmen can bowl.
None. I just have 4 bowling options.
So Aditya, you that's your balance.
Yes. So, I guess there's a couple of things. England is not the sort of place where you can pile on 550, 600 runs. Here, if you get to, 350, 400, that could still be a winning score. And I feel like our bowling attack is potent enough to be able to work with those runs. Do I think the Indian batting lineup is capable of scoring 350, 400? I do. I think Rohit Sharma at the top of the order is going to be key to that performance. And Sunil Gavaskar said recently that he seems to have altered his game and he has the confidence to be able to score at least 200 or 300s in this series. So I'm expecting big runs from Rohit Sharma. Virat Kohli will also be determined to score runs. Ajinkya Rahane has a pretty decent record in England also. With the 100. And
The last tour he was 25.7, right? 3 years ago. It was 25.
Right, but he's
27, okay. 27. Fine.
Still have that confidence in him that he does better overseas than he does in India. So I think that reputation is sort of stuck with him, and I'm sure Pujara will also do better this tour because both players are conscious of their statistics, I'm sure. And with Ashwin and Shardul Thakur, they can pile on those additional 50 runs towards the end. They can frustrate the England bowlers. So I think generally I have faith in this lineup. What I hope to see generally is Prithvi Shaw coming in the second test, because I think he's still in quarantine, and once he's out of it, he'll have a little bit of practice before he gets prepped for the second test. But I think going then into the second test, we have that more aggressive option at the top of the order, that can really disturb and dominate the English bowling attack. So that's something that I'm really excited for. But I guess in this test, because of injuries and quarantine requirements, India going to have to make a few adjustments at the top.
Okay, thank you, Aditya. So, Christian, we'll come to you. What would your 11 be for India?
I'm going to make a little bit of a controversial selection today. So I'll have Rohit Sharma and Prithvi Shaw.
Pam to open.
No. Rohit Sharma and Prithvi Shaw to open for me. Because I just think
Prithvi Shaw can't open, bro.
He's not available? Oh, okay. I thought
only the second test onwards.
Okay. So then I'll have Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul as openers. And I'll have Pujara, Kohli, Rahane, Vihari, Pant. I have Vihari at 6. Because I think he's done well in England. He has good numbers in England, Vihari. So I think and also he offers that part-time option. I don't think you need a Jadeja at 6 or 7. You do want a more stable batting at 6. Of course, there's always the argument as to whether Jadeja, the batsman, is better than Vihari, the batsman. I think that is always up for debate on, I guess, whether the scorecard reads whether if you've gotten runs already in the top 6, then Jadeja is better than Vihari in piling on the runs. But when it comes to pressure situations, when you don't have runs on the board, you need some runs from your number 6, then Vihari is the guy who gets you those runs. So at least I'd probably have Vihari, and I'll have Pant at 7. And my 4 bowlers would be Ashwin, Siraj, Shami, and Bumrah. Yeah, those will be my 4 bowlers. Yeah.
There's maybe. Okay, I won't talk about England. I'll leave it to a couple of you. We couldn't get any England fans on tonight, apart from myself. So I'll go to you, Simon. Actually, you tell me who would your England 11 be?
So Rory Burns.
Okay, no Wokes, no Stokes, no Archer.
Okay, so Rory Burns. One sec. Let me just open the squad. Rory Burns and Hasib Hamid, because he's been in good form. I would not take Tom Sibley. Then at 3, Root. Just one sec. Yeah.
Root at 3.
Sorry, who comes at 3? Zach Crawley, right?
Crawley,
yeah. So Crawley, Root, then Dan Lawrence.
Bairstow, Butler.
Pope.
Oh yeah, Butler.
Pope is injured, he's out.
Yeah, Pope's not there. So Bairstow, Butler.
Oh, sorry, yeah, because he injured his quad, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So Bairstow, Butler, and my bowlers would be Anderson, Broad, Sam Curran, and Dominic Bess.
Well, ahead of Leach.
Ahead of Leach, because he has got the better of Virat Kohli. Although he's bowled very filthy balls, but still.
And right about you, who would your England 11 be?
Yeah, just probably one change. I'll have Jack Leach over the off spinner, because he'll at least try to play the containing role. Because I'm pretty sure Bess is going to bowl filthy full tosses, which our batsmen would love to deposit to the boundaries. So yeah, just that one change.
I personally think England are a world of shit with their top six. I think it's horrendous. I think Zach Crawley. It's funny actually. I think Zach Crawley has actually proven himself over the last 6 months to be a better white ball player than the red ball player, despite his big 100 last year against Pakistan. He's did very well for Kent in the Blast. He's done well in the obviously got called anyway of the COVID issues that Pakistan series did well with the white ball game. I just don't know if he's a bit lost actually. I think it's been patched together because of what's happened with the injuries. Like Pope is to me is really, I think he's I'm not saying vastly overrated in terms of ability, but his performances have been lackluster to say the least over the last 12 months. And his bits of reputation alone, I think they're investing in him like they've invested in Josh Butler over the past 12 months. They remember they invested in Butler in 2019. He was horrendous, Josh Butler, and they kept picking him, and he came good last year. I think they're hoping that something will happen with Ollie Pope. But obviously, it was him being injured. Because I think he might have got the nod, even though Lawrence played in 71 against New Zealand. I think he may have got the nod over Dan Lawrence because of reputation. I think they're really high, they have a massive hard on for Ollie Pope, England management. Huge. They just love the dude because he has the right optics. I can't stand all that. It looks like he's a little ginger twat, basically. That's what I mean. So it looks like Ian Bell, he's flashy, nice shots. Because he's a preppy schoolboy from Chelsea, little fuckwit. So they pick him because that's the kind of because he represents what's good for English cricket. I honestly won't for age about that. Anyway, I'm going a bit of a tangent there. Ollie Pope hasn't delivered for a long. He hasn't scored a century since Aditya, from memory, since the South Africa series 18 months ago in PE. He hasn't scored a century. Whereas Cooley scored, Sibley scored, Lawrence has scored. I'm not sure Lawrence scored a century, but he's
for the last 2 years.
Yeah, oh yeah, well, so I was confused there with England. But yeah, no, that's okay. Okay, fine. Well, I think Cole has slightly better record to fall back on than Ollie Pope does, let's be honest. But I think England have got a world of trouble with their batting. The only good thing that happened in that New Zealand series is that Rory Burns found form, because that was the only benefit for England. I would be licking my lips if I'm Shami, Siraj, Bumrah, etc. I think it's very fragile. I think as Joe Root does not want to bat three. That's the major issue they've got. Is that Root does not want to go three. So you're leaving your top three batsmen are all vulnerable. Burns, Sibley, if it's Hamid's coming back around how he's going to fare, Crawley, your top three is vulnerable. Before you know it, you're 25 for 2, staring down the barrel, and your bowling attack has got is running crest of a wave. That's why I said to you before about the opening batsman for India. Would you really put Vihari in? He's like a sacrificial lamb, I feel, if you put Vihari on the top of the order. I think if you can get top of England, they're bowling. To me, if they can get on top of Jimmy Anderson, there's only one win in this series. India can't lose this series. If they can get top of Jimmy Anderson, they'll win this series. And I honestly believe, we'll get to predictions a bit later, but I think they will win comfortably. I think India can win this series comfortably. I'm not joking. I really think that England's top six has got massive issues, especially like Chris Woakes coming in late down the order to short the batting, as he proved last year as a capable batsman. No Ben Stokes. I think it's looking quite weak. I think the bowling attack, I'd probably go Sam Curran, Broad, Anderson, and Leach. But I'd be tempted to play Markwood if you could. I think it's an X factor that could really scare India. Get that ball reversing later on the Test matches. I mean, that's the one play I think could actually breach the defense of India. I just feel like if Rishabh Pant comes onto bat, you've got a 39-year-old Jimmy Anderson who may bowl 20 overs in a day, and you see Pant come on, and you're like, do I really need this now at my age? Do I really need to see Rishabh Pant come on? Do you know what I mean? I just feel like that could be going through his mind,
But Pant has an average of 14.66 against Jimmy Anderson, although he might have hit that scoop over the keeper's head, but he has got a very low average against Anderson. And Anderson got him out twice or thrice in the Test series against India this year. So not much of a threat.
Well, they have to say, listen, they might be. they'll have to see if they utilize Anderson every time that Pant comes into bat to keep him on, but it doesn't always work in that way, does it, Si? You can't always, especially when you guys is almost 40 years old, you can't always keep him necessarily fresh just to come on and bowl a blistering spell. I think, I just don't know. And I think Leach is the one that gives you a little bit of control. With Dominic Bess, you mentioned Bess, Si, but I don't know. I just feel like he'll give you 2 buffet balls and an over to kind of release any pressure. That's all. I just see India as a better lineup. I'll be honest. I just see India as a better all-round side. I just don't see how India lose a series. I think there was, I know that India lost 4-1 3 years ago, but that's got to be the closest 4-1 series defeat you'll ever see. That easily could have been in India's favour. That there's no way on earth England can say they were 4-1 better than India. 3, you know what I mean? So I know my money would definitely be in India, but I mean, Christian, what do you think? Who would you, if you were obviously Chris Silverwood and Joe Root, how would you tackle this Test series?
See, I think firstly, when it comes to any time, whenever you're billed as the underdogs, or whenever you're billed as we're just going to get steamrolled. It's at that moments when you need to find your truest resilience, right? And you need to figure out how to bat long periods of time. Right, frustrate the Indian bowlers. We saw that the tail enders of New Zealand managed to win them a game, right, on an English pitch, right, in overcast conditions. We saw that the tail end batting of New Zealand managed to win. Right, if you look at both teams tail for tail, obviously England has the much better tail in terms of batting. So at least in terms of batting deep, England is solidly better. Right, I would look at that as one of the big positives for England, is that their tail can bat. When it comes to,
but really, if you pick Wood, Leach, Broad, and Anderson, is Sam Curran then number 8? Is Sam Curran batting 8? So you could say Curran, Broad, Anderson.
I'm actually I'm a little. So the thing is, I want to play Sam Curran, but I also want to figure out a way to play Wood, because I mean, like you said, X factor. And I'm thinking, do I need the extra batsman, or can I play Leach, Curran, Broad, Anderson, and Wood? I still think you might be able to play Curran, Leach, Broad, Anderson, and Wood, because Leach also can bat. He's shown that in England. I don't know exactly whether he'll come good in this tour in terms of the batting, but at least he has some reputation. Might not be the best reputation, but he has something. And he's got a 90 against Ireland in some obscure Test match like a couple of years ago, right? So he has. We know that Leach can bat. Broad also, I mean, on occasion he gives you like a couple of 30s, 40s. Anderson also has given you a couple of 20s here and there. Mark Wood sometimes not, right? But at least you can expect 50 runs from the tail, from England's tail, right? With India, you can barely expect 30, right? On a good day we get 30. So in that respect, I would say England is much better. But I think, obviously, like you said, the top 3 is whatever, bowlers will be licking their lips trying to get the top 3. But I just think of this as, hey, wherever, like if I'm an English batter, I'm just thinking, hey, you know what? There's really nothing to lose here. Everybody's said where we're losing. The 100 is, everybody cares about the 100. Nobody really cares about, if we don't do well, nobody's gonna rant at us on social media. Nobody's gonna yell at us, right? Because all the attention's on the 100. But if I score 100, if Zach Crawley must be thinking, if I score 100, Hasib Hamid, who's had a brilliant last few months, if he scores 100, he'd be thinking, hey, you know what? If I got 100 here, that makes my case for the Ashes. That makes my case maybe for the limited overs side, right? So there's a lot to gain for England, definitely, and there's not much to lose. So I would say, England are much more comfortable in terms of that aspect. So I would not be worried too much about, oh my God, India's bowlers are so, this Shami, Siraj, Bumrah, oh my God, how am I going to play them? I just be like, hey, you know what? Let's see it through, and let's try and play our best, and let's try and irritate the selectors a little bit more, because there's nobody really challenging for anything. So I think England's much better off in that aspect.
I mean, obviously about the batting of England here, Christian. I mean, Aaron, I'll come to you. Obviously, we saw a few months ago in India, I think Chris Silver came out after the Test series had finished and said that we were looking forward to India coming to England to get revenge, basically, and also get some just desserts for India after the pummeling that England took in India. Do you think a lot of the players will be hurting going into this series? The likes of Poe, well, obviously Poe's not playing, but Lawrence, for example, Burns, Sibley, guys are almost embarrassed at times. They look like deer in headlights at various times during that series. Do you think a lot of pride's on the line for these guys after their walloping they took at the start of the year?
I think the first thing they'll be happy is they'll not be facing Akshar Patel anymore. I think they'll be happy in that aspect.
On those dust balls of basically like the Sahara Desert, you can see
Mhm.
pitches.
Yeah, getting back to the England conditions. I mean, I think Dom Sibley is going to be found out again, unfortunately. I mean, with this technique of hanging the bat outside off and defending everything else onto the leg side is not going to help anymore. Bowlers like Siraj or Shami would obviously steamroll him if he's going to do that again. So my bet would be only on Dan Lawrence. Probably he was made the scapegoat the last time we came to India.
Yeah.
They pushed him up the order instead of playing him at 5 down or 6 down where he's more suited for batting. Probably he's going to do the lower order scoring for them, shepherd the tail-enders as well. Yeah, that I think those two guys would have to step their game up if England is going to bat through and score probably 300 to 400 and win the test match.
Another guy I forgot to mention before actually was Johnny Bairstow. Obviously, he's part of the squad, isn't he? So he could obviously come in and bat at 3 potentially as well. But fair enough. I mean, what do you think the sign for comment to you regarding the wounded England batsman a few months ago? Do you think that they will show the true mettle and the worth in this series?
I mean, they have to, right? Because let's be honest, for some of the players, this might just be their do or die situation. Someone like who was the one who scored 267 and then didn't score shit?
Crawley.
Crawley, yeah. So that guy, for Crawley, also for someone like a Dominic Sibley, I think he'll get the first test. But after that, if he fails in both the innings, I think someone like a Haseeb Hameed comes in. Right? So I think England have got a lot to prove, and also their media won't be hyping them, like won't be looking at them like that because of the 100. So they've got that cushion for themselves. Also, Joe Root has to, play the bigger man, play the bigger role for England. He has to score those big daddy hundreds, or their first target should be to reach a score of 250 at the least, and then they should start piling up on that. So they are really the underdogs this series.
Yeah, Aaron's on the chat. I think he's still here. So I was Lisa. Well, she just left as I'm about to type this. No Wokes, no Stoke, no party. Listen, I'll be honest with Aaron. He's gone now, I think, but I would kill for Chris Wokes in this series. I really would. After what he did last year, I think he's a civilian rate cricketer. Stone, whatever. You got Mark Wood, we saw. And then obviously, I think to rub in your comments there, he said Sibley 502, not out inbound. So yeah, there we go.
Okay, that's Ollie Robinson.
I think.
Yes.
We haven't mentioned Robinson. We didn't mention Robinson, or we mentioned Robinson or Bairstow in our lineups. And I think, do you really want to play Anderson, Broad, and Robinson though? Like I think that Anderson will not play all 5 tests. Personally, I don't think he can. I don't think his legs can stand the rigors of a 5-test series coming in quick succession. I think Robinson might play instead of him. I think he might get the 3 rotating. I think that Sam Curran, although Ollie Robinson's very handy with the bat as well. He showed that in the New Zealand series, that first test. But I do think, actually, I think Sam Curran should play. I think you've got to find a place for that guy. Even if that's,
What if they go in with Anderson, Broad, Robinson, and Sam Curran? That would be a killer bowling lineup with Jack Leach.
Yeah, Butler bat 6. And then you've got the 4 bowlers with Leach, 7 to 11. You could do that, I guess. I think you've got to find. I think Sam Curran is on a high right now. He's decent IPL. He's a very good white ball cricket. I think he's a really, really talented player. I think Sam Curran should really be a 3-4 player for England. I really do. So, does anyone discuss kind of the weaknesses or strengths of England before we move on?
Yes. I'd like to see how Rory Burns goes, because he's coming with a high, with exceptional performances against New Zealand. But for some reason, I suppose this is it's a product of watching technically correct and conventional players over the years. You know, with a few exceptions like Steve Smith, who are fantastically successful also. But with Rory Burns, I'm just not convinced that he's going to give you consistent performances. Because of that technique. Where your bat faces like towards the wicket keeper and come from the back view, and then I found that to be a bit odd. And while he did find ways to score runs against New Zealand, he's going to be crucial because there aren't too many members in that batting lineup apart from Joe Root and Rory Burns who are actually confident and will be able to score big. So that's something that they're going to be worried about, because I don't know what it is about English cricket that a lot of these funny techniques going around are actually encouraged, and then these players are selected in the national fold. It's a bit odd to me.
But isn't that like a very much a modern take in cricket nowadays? Like, because 25 years ago when I was growing up, guys, the techniques like Burns and Sibley never got a sniff. It was Duncan Fletcher that actually brought that in with his international experience. He had Trescothick, etc. People who maybe weren't perfect on the eye, they got goals. Whereas, like, I always feel like Lasse Midlinga, Murray Dunham, these players would never have played for England if they were English. Because the coaching system, the way it was set up in the 90s, just like, what are you doing? Like, line and length, mate. Lasse Midlinga, the way you act, they almost ruined Jimmy Anderson. He always fucked his career, man, because he tried to coach up. Remember when he came to the scene in 2002-3, he almost fucked this dude because he literally said, change your action, because his head used to flop down. You saw that in the ODI leg of the Ashes tour in 2003, and also the World Cup in South Africa. You remember that, DTS? So he was a tearaway quick, but his action wasn't perfect. And they tried to change him, and he went shitless like Stephen Finn, who still is just been ruined. But he just said, like, if you look at him now, he's gone back to the old action. He thought, you know what? If you want me, Jim Anderson, to play my best, let me do me. And that's. But it's actually quite progressive of England management to see these guys with not the most conventional techniques getting opportunities. I actually like that. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter. It's all about the statistics. Do they score runs? Yes. So who cares how they bat? Yeah. Like Farwad Alam. Last year he got pummeled, didn't he, in England because of his technique? Who cares? If he scores runs, takes wickets, does it really matter? How they play?
Right. So there is a middle ground there, I suppose, because you're right in that the statistics matter. Steve Smith ordinarily would probably be pummeled by the media every single time, but because he's averaging 61 in Test cricket, I think we're just in awe of how he does it. But there is a middle ground because, unfortunately, batting has been a problem in English cricket for a while, and again, Alistair Cook was one of those examples, where a limited technique but scores massive runs, and that's great. Graham Smith, again, very limited technique, but again, incredibly successful. So yeah, I mean, Faf du Plessis, he's caught like. I think there's day and light between his two hands on that bat grip, but again, successful player. So I don't know. It's a bit odd, but with English cricket, it seems to be happening a lot more compared to other countries. So perhaps at some stage, coaches have to intervene and say that, look, this is not exactly conducive to successful Test match cricket, and we need to do something about it. I mean, Nasser Hussain was obviously quite animated in that video that he did with Sky Sports.
I'm not sure if you hear me, guys. Unfortunately, I've got a bit stuck here, unfortunately. I'm not sure you guys can hear me.
We can.
Yeah. We can hear you. But I think your video is sort of scratchy.
Yeah, you guys are there still?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. I'm not sure if you can hear me. It's got a bit on my end. It's got a bit poor. I'm going to try and move if I can. Get back close to the router. Oh.
I thought we had these issues only in India.
Is that better, guys, or?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can you hear us, Shay?
Sorry, guys. I'm not sure you can hear me or not. May I post comment?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, man.
I don't think he can hear us.
Can you hear me?
How do I?
You there,
how do I
guys?
reply to
Or?
this?
That's what I want to do.
Britain and India. So
Chris has
similar.
come out now. Can anyone hear me? Or
We can hear you.
Si, can you hear me?
Yeah.
That is pretty annoying. I can see you as well. I can see Cyan.
Can you hear me?
Aditi, I can see you as well. Moving around.
So weird, man. We can hear.
Anurag, I
everything
can
you're saying.
hear. Cyan, I can hear. I can't see Krishna. I'm not sure what's happened there.
Krishna, turn on your camera, mate.
Yeah, let me just. Oh wait, I turned it on.
Give me a second. I'm just going to drop out, guys, for a minute, and I'll come back. 1 second.
Sure.
Mm.
Here we are. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes. Anyways.
And you guys can use this time for promotional content.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I actually have one joke on this thing. It's a bit iffy, so I don't know if I should crack it here or not.
I mean, you can't mention I have a joke and then say I don't know whether I should crack it. Like, it just.
Okay, so
you can't
200
do it.
years of relation, then we come to this.
What now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Apologies for that. I'm not sure what was going on there. I've moved around the bloody studios to try and get the thing. Okay. Right. I guess it's my cue to go to the predictions before we cut out again. So I'll just get on with it. Right. I'm not sure if what guys are saying just carrying on. Apologies to DT. You cut mid-flow, referring to bad techniques and the fragility of England's middle order, what we're talking about. But I think that whichever way you look at it with England, match the composition, it's going to be fairly fragile. It's going to have weaknesses, isn't it? So, but anyway, that'll lead me to my prediction. First, I'll start with you, Anurag. Give me your prediction for the series, and we'll go around the room.
So I'll go with 3-1 India, and one of the test match to be washed out.
Sign? 5-0.
5-0 India.
Krista?
3-1. Yeah, I'll go with Anurag's prediction.
Aditya?
I'd go with 4-1
England?
India.
I'm going to go, as much as I hate to say it, but I'm going to agree with Anurag and Krishna at 3-1. I think that's about right. I think they're about 3-1 to the good, I'd say. So, yeah, we'll leave it there anyway. So, unfortunate, but I just don't see, I said before, I just feel like I think India would have grown a lot more. I think there'll be a few wounded egos from the India series for England. I'm just not sure they've got the capability to bat long periods, as the DT was saying before. I just don't. I appreciate that should be the game plan, but I'm not convinced that is just in the capabilities. I do worry a little bit. I think without Stokes as well. I think that the timing of Stokes is an absolute hammer blow to the side for the balance. So disappointing. But anyway, yeah, I think we'll leave it there, guys. I'm going to bring up anything else before we go. Anyone?
I have one thing.
Yeah, go for it. Man.
Actually, so I think coming back to the point of lack of media coverage, I will say, at least from the point of an Indian spectator who watches cricket, maybe not with so much so much, I guess, interest, or maybe watches it just because he enjoys a game of cricket every now and then, but doesn't really follow the insider stories and what's going on. I would say, yeah. I mean, I would probably, even if the media seem to, fake or try to manufacture hype about the series, I would sort of not buy it. I'd be like, really? I mean, are you really hyping up the series? Like, why? We just lost one of the most important World Test Championship final to New Zealand after playing such good cricket, after having the most path-breaking series in Australia. Now when I come to think of it, like when I think of that Australia series, I just think of it as like, yeah, we did a good job. But like, because it's always in context of the World Test Championship final, I just cannot remember the Australia series for the spectacle and the once in a lifetime event that it was. So yeah, I think this series deserves to not have as much coverage, at least from an Indian perspective. I don't know about the English media. I think you're better than that, and I think your name handle says everything you wanted to say about it. So I think I'll leave my point there.
No, fair enough, man. I always think as well, playing India doesn't have the same level of prestige anymore. I feel the amount of times England, Australia, and India play each other, I don't think it represents what it did years ago, unfortunately, because you just played you guys. We played you 3 years ago, obviously a full bilateral series. It's not boring, don't get me wrong, but it just for me it just lacks the excitement because, well, it's just another India series. Do you know what I mean? That's disappointing. So I don't want it to feel that way. I want to feel, oh wow, India coming. It's the juggernaut of India. Where like, okay, well, yeah, we saw this guy 6 months ago. Who cares? Do you know what I mean? So
we are gonna lose anyways.
Yeah, yeah. No, very right. Actually, if you had like a good team, I'd be more excited. But the fact that our team is fairly shite, I just don't feel like confident. So it is what it is.
I have one question though. Why wasn't Moeen Ali picked for the series?
Oh man,
100. He's the captain, right?
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't have mattered because Bairstow was one that is a feature player of Shfar, isn't he? He's only a player, but so many players. It's a fair point, really. I just not sure that they feel like they necessarily need him in English conditions. I think they feel like Jack Leach is still probably the best spinner here, and I think where would Moeen Ali really fit into the side?
I mean, you can bat him at 7, and then you can play 4 seamers. I think that you don't need to play.
But is there really room for a Moeen Ali and a Sam Curran in the same 11 in England?
You probably can, right? You probably don't need Leach then. I mean, you're now with. I mean, I guess now if you look at it in hindsight, with Stokes gone, like Moeen Ali at 7 just solves a lot of issues for England, and you are allowed to play 4. You can play 4 fast balls. You can play Robinson and Wood, or Robinson and Curran. You can do that. You have the option to do that. Here, it's like you're not really sure whether you trust Curran at 7.
Tom Best got the selection ahead of Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid. I don't know. That's a bit confusing.
I mean, Moeen Ali did well last year, didn't he? 3 years ago against India. I think I was 21 with the ball, so he formidable there. But I feel like he was much more of a mainstay in that Test side. I think he's not good enough for it anymore over a 5 Test match series with bat or ball anymore. I think he's very much now made in his mind towards being a white ball player. I think at 34 years old, he said, you know what, I'm at the top of my game. I'm well revered because he got a big contract with Chennai. You saw how it was with that. We were joking with Anurag in Chepauk Stadium when he scored. The man was playing for his IPL contract, didn't it? You know what I mean? Because he didn't give a shit, man. The man got out. I can't remember who bowled him at the end.
Kuldeep.
It was a dead game, a dead ball. He went, hey, shaking hands. I'll see you in 2 weeks, mate. I'll see you with the IPL. You know what I mean? He didn't care. He got a $700,000 US contract. So he was like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like Moeen Ali now, I think if you read between the lines of Moeen Ali, I think Krishna, he feels a bit disrespected by England management. If you look at what he said over the last couple of years, I think he's felt I love cricket a little bit. And I think, you know what? I'm playing for cash only. To quote my good mate John, playing for cash only. And I think that's just like, yeah.
He said something about Malan last day. Like, we kept Malan in, so we knew the scoreboard wasn't taking anyways.
Malan's the one guy, actually. He's like the opposite of Zach Crawley. Well, he's a good white ball player, obviously, on paper, but I actually think he could translate his game to the red ball, if anything. He actually could be the one guy who could break into that top 5, get some solidity. He's done well in the Ashes he did okay in the last away Ashes. He's got a technique that can actually stack up in the red ball game, but he's considered a white ball player, and Zach Crawley, I think, is the opposite. It's a bit messed up in it, but anyway. Anyway, because he's 34 years old, he knows the game inside out. With the guys like Lawrence and Pope and these guys are all in early mid-20s. You could do a big experience there, couldn't you, with Milan? But anyway, it is what it is. Cool. I'll leave it there, guys. Hopefully, we can do a post-match show, the first test. Well, I hope it'll be 5 days' time. 7 days' time from now, anyway. But yeah, we'll see. Thank you very much. Anurag, quickly just go around the room. Where can we find you, as I always say?
Hey guys, you can find me on Facebook as Anurag Reddy and on Twitter as The Obvious Madlad. Cheers.
Sign.
You can find me on Twitter. This is the handle, and you can find me on Instagram at Cyan0701.
Krishna?
You can find me on Instagram at my handle there, Krishna__Kalki. I'm also on Facebook. I'm also on YouTube. And I'm also on all music streaming platforms. I'm an artist, so I have Spotify, iTunes, the list. So you can find me there.
And Krish is fresh off, clap by the way, for 1,000 followers on Insta. So well done, mate. I did see that. Well done to you, mate.
Thank you.
Keep pushing. And Aditya, always see, well, you know what? I can see you every day, man. 7 o'clock, SAST. You'll see this guy's face for 15 minutes, between 13 and 15 minutes every day. That's 7. No, anyway, DC, yeah. Tell me about you.
Yeah, Aditya U Mehta on Instagram and Twitter, and Aditya Mehta on Facebook, and you can also find me on Cricket Fanatics magazine on most days.
Every day, guys. Every day. 6 days. I think he goes on by himself. Even if Holland's not there, he still goes on. He just keeps going to goes to the hooks. Anyway, guys, this has been Uneven Bounce. Hope you've enjoyed the show. I appreciate, obviously, these guys coming on. I know it's very late. So what time is it? 12 o'clock?
12:30.
You know what? Yeah, I've got 3 minutes left. I want to ask you guys a question. I've asked you guys before about favorite breakfasts? Indian breakfast. Yeah. I've asked you about movies. We will not go into that, Krishna. I'm not pronouncing any more Indian films for a long time. I'm not fucking pronouncing any more Indian films. I've got one question, though, for you guys, and you can't say it's your home state. So the question is for you four. Where are the hottest chicks in India? I'll start with you, Anurag.
Yes.
Then side, Krishna, Aditya. But you cannot say your home state. Don't become a no Kolkata and Chennai and all that. Right? Anurag.
I'll vote for Bangalore. I've stayed there for 3 years and I was mind blown.
You were the obvious mad lad.
Let's go.
Got me there.
Bangalore. All right.
It's got bang in it, so.
Yes. Side. All right. Dapper Merchant. Where are we going, man? I'm my first trip to India. Where am I going? I'm a single dude.
Mumbai,
the capital.
Yeah. No, Mumbai is not
Financial capital.
Oh, sorry. I keep thinking like London. Right. Okay. So Mumbai. Is there anywhere a bit more like obscure that we go? Because Mumbai is just like, you know.
You can go to Kashmir, actually. The girls are very pretty.
Let's not even bring Kashmir into it because someone will say KPL in it. Those three dread letters.
Simon, you did that on purpose. I know you did that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you trying to lead into the KPL in it, man. Let's just stick to the chicks, man. Become the cricket now. Cricket's finished.
I could see it in your face the moment you said it. It was just written all over your face.
You're just trying to bring it. Krishna, this guy, I can just tell, man. This guy sings to the chicks. That's how we get him in. I can tell. This guy's a player. So,
I don't know where this. All of my friends think I'm some freaking player. I don't understand where this comes from. But anyways,
probably from looking at your profile pic. That just gives it off, man.
Oh god.
Right.
Oh god.
Right. Go on, Krishna. We're not saying Bangalore. So where are we going?
I can't say Bangalore. I know. That's sad. I would say Kerala. Actually, I'm gonna go a little left field and say Kerala. The state of Kerala has some really beautiful women.
Aditya?
I have to say it's a very difficult question. So I'm just going to go with... What about Delhi?
Delhi, okay. All right. So we've got Delhi, we've heard Mumbai, we've heard Kerala. Anurag, you said Bangalore.
Bangalore.
By the way, that joke is quite popular here in the city. So
We got Christians from Bangalore. You this is God. Imagine Christians dating a chick from Bangalore and you all call it Bangalore.
But all controversies aside, Kashmir has got pretty women. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what you'd mention Kashmir was if it's KPL, man. That's why you mentioned Kashmir, man.
No.
Maybe we'll see the Kashmiri cheerleaders in KPL.
wait,
innit?
where, have you ever been to Kashmir, Jaffa
Yeah.
Merchant?
Yeah,
Saab,
I've been
sir?
there twice. I've been there
Okay.
twice.
Where is Kashmir? Is it to the east?
It's near
Northwest.
Pakistan.
No, okay, north, okay.
It's
Northwest.
like the
Northwest,
northernmost, the northernmost part of India. Like that's like Kashmir side region. Yeah.
I'll see. Okay, right. Okay. Well, thank you guys for your very incredible insight into the. Yeah, actually, tell me why the chicks are so good though. Like Christian, I thought you'd elaborate, man.
Do you want me to elaborate?
Not personal anecdotes, but I thought maybe are they all down to earth men or just pretty down to earth, or just like bombshells, like 6 foot long models in Kerala?
Oh, you're talking to me. Oh.
Yeah, you, man. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question without putting myself in trouble. So I really don't know.
Man.
You won't be able to release the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever's
I mean-
whoever's on the stream right now, just by the way, we're preventing the cricket chats. We're talking about the hottest chicks in India. So stick around if you want to hear some anecdotes from Anurag Reddy at the obvious mad lad. These guys. Yeah, we kind of bailed away for the cricket chat after like 58 minutes. Anyway, but Aditya, by the way, whoever's on the stream, you missed some filthy stories from Aditya. So unfortunately, I have to rewind. So, yeah. Jokes, man. Let's call it Chinese finger cuffs. We'll leave it there. With that. Anyway, all right. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks, guys, very much. I'll try and think of another question next time for next show because we don't food, movies, and chicks. So I'll think of something else. Anyway, this is Unleave a Bounce. Hope you enjoyed the content. We enjoyed the show. Come see us again. Hopefully, these goals will be back on in a few days' time. Where let's fingers crossed celebrating an England victory, although very doubtful. Anyway, have a good evening, guys, and see you next time. Thank you.
Cheers.